Very unpopular opinion, very unpopular subject right now. Surviving R. Kelly, the final chapter, has been getting a lot of I've been seeing this a lot of pushback. Twitter, I feel like is a lot more a little bit open and talking about the situation from what I've seen when I use the hashtag in it. But as far as like anywhere else where I've been seeing any other social media, especially YouTube, or just really basically everybody isn't as sucked in as we were in the beginning of Surviving R. Kelly. And really quick, y'all, if you're new, I'm your girl Ash. Welcome to Ash Recap. So I basically, recap what I want to recap, basically. What I find interesting. It's definitely a lot of reality TV, but things that definitely I feel like is deserving of a conversation that I just want to talk about, whatever. So let's just get back into it or whatever. But don't forget to like the video, though. If you enjoyed this video, if you feel like it's informative, or just like what I decided to give off in the video, so stick around, stay on, yeah, do that for your girl. I need you to stick around. I need y'all to stay sticking around for these videos, okay? I appreciate that. Hit that like button, push it out to more people like you, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel, bang the bell, and yeah, we covered all the good old stuff. So getting back into it. So from my understanding, a lot of people felt like, one, Lifetime is reaching. Lifetime need a check. Like, come on, y'all, this is Lifetime. There are still people out there, okay, who love a good Lifetime stories. Because one thing about it, now granted, I have not watched Lifetime like that, like I used to, but Lifetime be having some bomb stories. And as well, they do a lot of documentaries on stuff, or do, if not documentaries, they'll do stories based on true stories. So to me, not even to me, in my eyes, this they had to do, it made sense to me for them to do the part 3. After all that, that was put out there, and now, he's facing these charges, he's going to court, he's on trial. Why would we not now proceed and move now with these ladies with this trial going on? To me, it made sense, but a lot of people felt like it was a reach. They're exploiting this man, at this point, and I don't feel, regardless, I'm sorry, I don't feel like, unpopular opinion, maybe not, I just don't feel like he is deserving of possibly a second chance. Or even, I wouldn't even necessarily a second chance, excuse me, that wasn't even what I wanted to say. I don't think he's deserving of anybody. I hate to say time when I have opinions, because I feel like I got to rethink my opinion. Like, am I being like too harsh or whatever or whatnot? But I'm like, no. When I just had the thought that I just had of this man having these women in feces and things like that, no. That's a whole nother level of sickness, and I'm sorry. Be on him. Get on him. Get on him and don't get off. It sucks, though, because it's kind of like you can't even fully blame him. You can't fully blame him. You have to add in the people, the handlers, and everybody else who continue to see this and allow us, even society, when he did go to court those times and was acquitted, there were so many times where this could have been stopped. Let's even talking about Aaliyah. That this could have been stopped then. It wasn't. And for me, okay, y'all, so I did not keep up with the trial. So for me, this was very informative about what was going on. Everybody all the witnesses being able to be, their identities being, what's the word that I'm looking for? I don't want to say secretive, but y'all get shielded is what I'll say. It was a lot of stuff that I didn't know. They didn't talk about Aaliyah, in the beginning and all that. They might have touched on it, but it got deeper. It was stuff that I felt like I didn't know. So, and then I feel for these women. I sympathize for these women. And so to know that they, even through all, after obviously that the beginnings of Surviving R. Kelly came out, of course they were getting backlash. They were still getting backlash through the trial. People are still supporting R. Kelly, calling these ladies liars. Like, they said it correctly. The black woman is the least protected, period. Period. Even amongst other black women, even amongst other black men. But I'm not going to sit here and act like I don't understand where the other side comes from, because I can get that women, we as women, we do lie. We do lie about things. We get in our feelings. We whatever, and we can falsify and we can lie. But I'm sorry. When he married Aaliyah, and then we seen videotapes of this man peeing on the, like, so, like, I get it. I can get how you can say, okay, so, but y'all, no. To this degree though, I'm just saying, I don't know anybody who wants clout and wants a check so bad that they're going to go and tell the public that they had to eat that man's shit. Smear shit on your bodies, all over yourself. As I was so like, I couldn't only imagine the reporters as they couldn't get to hear. They didn't get to see the audio, but they got to hear it. And just reading some of the transcripts, of course they didn't, obviously, they just showed some of the transcripts of what things that were said. It's degrading. And I mean, my sister were having a conversation about it, and I ended up getting her sucked in about it or whatever, because this really is the type of thing that she would like even get sucked into or whatever. The way her spirit is set up, like, nah, it's just too much. And I was at the end of it, so I was watching last episode, and, you know, we were just talking. I was just telling her about the stuff that was going on and the nastiness and whatever. And we had ended up on the phone, and she was listening to it with me as I was watching it. And, you know, we were just talking about, you know, grace for the man, as I'm sitting here saying now that, you know, he just doesn't, you know, he doesn't deserve, but at the end of the day, he's sick. He's sick. And it was a doctor on there, and she was saying that, you know, a part of her feels like, you know, that he thinks that this is okay, that he's not doing anything wrong, because some of these things, he was sexually assaulted as a young child. And we don't know if these level of things was something that he had to endure. So if this is how, as a young person, he sees sex and intimacy, and him to have no emotion, and to, like, a part of me too does feel like he does not see the wrong, and that's why he can't take accountability, because he don't see the wrong. At the same time, it's like, bruh, how many times do you have to be in the face of these court people and boom, 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 for you not to think of, okay, maybe something is, but at the same time, this is a sickness. He has a thing for young girls. So it's more than just like, it kind of is, but it isn't. I'm just kind of like, when do you recognize? It's like just like this, y'all. This is how I feel. And this is the example I use my sister. Boom. We have both been in situations where we not exactly the same, but let's just say what's the word that I want to say? We just gonna say we could be a part of the Me Too. Okay, we could be considered a part of the Me Too movement. So it's kind of like, though, at the same time, when you know your trauma, and not even just that, just other traumas that we go through, when you know these things, when you realize that these are the things, these are the issues, and this is why you act the way you act, and blah, 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 it does not okay it, though. Yes, you were hurt. Yes, these things were happening to you, but after a while, it stops being okay for you to act this way. When do you check in with yourself and be like, okay, maybe I need to go get some help. Maybe I need to take some steps so I can get myself better, so I can heal myself. And that was the thing that we were going so back and forth on, or whatever, or whatnot, because this is something that he was subjected to. And that plays a great big role, whether you want to believe it or not, whether you believe in that type of thing, whether you believe that your childhood impacts who you are and how you are as an adult. That's that's whatever. But that was just a conversation, in itself, y'all. So, like I said, it's crazy because a lot of the girls are back home with their parents. These last younger girls who are minors, was like Adrielle, Dominique, Joyce. The only person who's with him is, I think there was a Joy, Faith. No, it was a Faith, Adrielle, Dominique, Joyce. Joyce is still with him. She met him in 2016, and she was 19. She was 19 when they met in college. So she was legally of age, obviously. Which some women are. But I think I was conflicted, because I think it was like, okay, in the beginning when I was watching it, because I was like, all right, let her go, y'all. Let her go. Let her go. But then when they started, I had never seen that video. I think that was with Azriel, when she went back with Gail and apologized to Gail and admitted that they were lying. I hadn't seen that. So that's what I mean when I say, y'all, like when I say I want to say it was the Me Too. When the Me Too started to happen, and then I want to say it was something else I was going in the news. Like it was, oh yeah, it was the Me Too, and it was black people, all the black people being killed by police. It was just too much. And I was a faithful Good Morning America, Robin, what's the guy, Kaepernick, whatever, with not Kaepernick, but he got the long last name or whatever. I was there faithfully in the morning with my crew on Good Morning America, enjoying it, getting my news and getting the worldwide news. And then as well, boom, I can get my little bit of local news. What's the weather for the day? And boom, I'm on with my day. And when all that happened, I just had to, it was just too much. It was too much for me. And I had to break away, and I just never went back. So again, a lot of stuff I was not seeing. I was not knowing of. It wasn't anything I was searching of. I wasn't out searching on interested. I felt in the day that he was guilty. I felt that he definitely needed to get his time in court. Hey, I found out that he was guilty. And that was all I needed to know. I think as well, I don't know that everything is maybe made public. So I might not have known, and maybe this wasn't the case, but I didn't know that, that maybe we might have been able to be privileged to what was going on in the courtroom. Just like, whose case was that? And everybody was looking in on the case that just happened just recently. But either way, so it had me just like, let her go. She grown. This might be she want to be where she want to be. Da 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 da. But then realizing that this man grooms these kids, not just kids, these women. He grooms them. And it's not even to say that some of these females don't necessarily want to be in relationship with him, because some do. The one girl that had came out, she admitted they were in a relationship. She was a girlfriend. She wanted to be him. As someone who has dated older men, I was definitely being somewhat of a hypocrite. And my sister definitely had to check me. So I can understand that part. I think it's just that obviously some of these girls were actually raped. Probably when they did not want to have sex, they probably had to be forced to have sex. And just the level of degrading, the level of, like, it's illegal at the end of the day. It's illegal at the end of the day. And he had no business. And the people around him allowed it. And just, it's just a lot. It's a lot. So, like I said, it was a lot. It was basically getting a lot of these people's, this story was mainly a lot of just getting, not just repeating what we already knew. Because like I said, I felt like there were things that I didn't know. I learned new things, but seeing what they were going through and, as he was on trial, being a witness. Two of the ladies said that they didn't even, as they were supposed to be witnesses, they weren't even called to testify. So I enjoyed going through everyone again and kind of maybe getting a bit more piece of information, but as well seeing what their role was, how they may have been impacted, during this trial. So another thing for our naysayers that I just wanted to point out, that was like a key piece for everybody who was like, oh, he's innocent. How did his semen get on Geronda's shirt? Are we going to blame Geronda? I do believe Geronda was the girl who sought him out when he was on trial for when he pissed on the girl on videotape. It's too many connecting things, y'all. There was a videotape of him having sex, peeing on her, whatever then. You're hearing these ladies talk about he tapes everything. Just because he videotaped that one girl didn't mean he always videotaped. How would they know that? What would make that a key thing? Nobody knew to the extent that I don't think then that that's what was going on. How did that man see me get on her shirt? Key factor in that whole case and situation. That was actual evidence that they were able to produce for that case, for that situation with her. Aaliyah. Let me tell you what really disgusted me about this whole Aaliyah thing. Demetrius Smith and the uncle and the uncle's sister, his sister, Aaliyah's mother. Because, and possibly the dad, because something there as well is just like fishy to me. I want more. Not because I want nosy, because I growing up listening to Aaliyah and just feeling like we knew that girl, that we knew that baby girl, and just how just so sweet and just so the soul that she was. And I just want to know. I honestly just seeing her broken by him and possibly doing those things to her, and not that it takes away from the other girls, but it's like you knew her more because she was in your face, she was singing, she was in the interviews, you felt like you knew her, versus us feel like we knew we don't know these other women. No, we necessarily didn't even know Aaliyah. I think that interview that they did together way back then, when they were addressing their relationship and all that, the way she spoke about him, this is my friend, like, this is my good buddy, like, part of me feels like that she did love him, like a lot of these women did. So I would love, like, to hear her truth. I would love to hear, like, what that experience was like, for her. But to hear that, it was news to me that, so basically, that she was pregnant at 15 by him. And basically that might have been also why he married her. And also because he didn't want to go to jail. And for Demetrius Smith to say something like, oh, they were so, because that's what the narrative was. They were just so in love with each other. But I'm with them. He was so in love with her that he went and he raped somebody. Left her. The woman that he just married, he left because she was supposed to go on. She was supposed to be on at that show. Why he leave her? He loved her. They're so in love in this unloving relationship. They just got married. They're supposed to be on this tour together. That's why the girl who went to the tour, who went to the show, she went to go see Aaliyah. She went there for R. Kelly, and she ends up raped. But you love her, mind you, and then he's in a whole secret other relationship with somebody else and is denying it. And when she basically ends up catching him, is that not enough information for us that she saw Aaliyah and him on the video, or do we think that's a lie too? It sucks. I think it was just crazy because it shows the level of effect that this man had on these ladies, to the point that she could barely admit that really he threw her down those steps. Back to Demetrius. Demetrius saying, oh, there was such this, there was such that. They probably would still been together. Oh, because they would have been great together, even though she was 15. It wasn't like that because, Kelly, he was really her age and mine. What? No. No, no, no. And is that what you're saying, Demetrius? Is that why y'all condone this for so long? Because he was young in mind? No, that's disgusting. That's disgusting. And how dare you say that? Now, let's talk about the uncle here. Because the uncle went on Dr. Oz, didn't see that, didn't know nothing about that. Talking about the whole, their falling out, him and his sister, Aaliyah's mom's falling out, was about R. Kelly. Right? And that she may have known more than what she let on. Right? Again, I'm on Twitter, scrolling at the same time while I'm watching this, whatever. And allegedly, this person had put out there that basically, allegedly, she alleged as well. She didn't put it out there as if it was to be true. She might be somebody because she had a check mark on her profile. And she had basically said that possibly the mother had relations with Kelly prior to Aaliyah meeting him. And could have been a possibility that she put her on him. Sold her off to him, basically. I'm not going to lie. That was my immediate thought. That in some way, she knew about this sexual relationship, knew about this marriage. Like, everybody wasn't as clueless as they were making it out to be. TV besties, another thing I want to add here that I forgot to mention is, and I could be reaching. Y'all let me know if I very well could be reaching. But when I thought about possibly if it was true, I guess I was trying to make connections basically. And I remember them talking about how R. Kelly would play up the daughters against their moms, telling him, oh, well, your mom wants me. She's jealous of you. You're so pretty. You're prettier than her. Blah, 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 blah. And for some reason, I just connected that with Aaliyah and her mom. And it had me like, is this where this originated came from? Did he have her mom and then now he wanted the daughter? Or I don't know, y'all. Like I said, it could be reaching, but I don't know. I was feeling like something was going on there. And I think what really threw me off, what really helped to cover it up, and what really kind of exposed them, I can get it though, because I guess as a mom, as a parent, you don't want to continue to put your child through the trauma and all this base, but doing that allowed him to learn basically how he can keep doing this and getting away with it, if you ask me. Y'all sign the NDA. Y'all basically get money from him instead of pressing charges. Like, what? 3 mil or possibly $100, or it said that he had to sign over 3 of his first albums, the rights to his albums to them to cover it up, and then now look at all these women. And my whole thing is I get it, okay, the NDA, y'all can't speak of it, so don't speak on it then, mama. Don't go on there saying that, oh, it's lies, it's lies, it's lies. Just don't comment at all. Don't comment at all. Because it seems like you're trying to save this man. And you know what? Maybe you are. Because don't none of this look right to me. I can't sit here and say that money is what would help me. Like, could this be a way this could have been set out quietly? They got the money. People do stuff all the time. What that was just Safari and Erica Mena, who nobody knew that they were divorced. They were able to do some stuff privately, whatever. These people got too much money. These people got money, y'all. There's always a way to skin a freaking cat. Something ain't all right there with that whole Aaliyah situation. Her mom, her uncle, all them. I don't like it. They nasty. They all nasty. I think it was nice to hear Javante, being open and finally come out about her story. I hated that, again, like the rest of women, she was discredited so many times. But one thing I can say is I think I'm gonna just go ahead and, and end this show. I think, you've definitely got my thoughts. I got what I wanted out of this. But it's definitely not over. I don't know if, Lifetime is going to keep going, keep trying to, this is the final chapter. So I think they're going to go ahead and boom. But it's not over as far as like this court stuff. One, the women are already scared because like Bill Cosby, he went in, he was able to get out. He has the right to appeals. I definitely see him appealing. And not even that, not just in Brooklyn. That was just in Brooklyn. He still has, trials in, Minnesota and Illinois. So it's not over. He could very well spend his life. And at this point, yeah, I don't see it. I don't see it for him. I don't see him getting out. I don't want to say Bill Cosby was something else, but Bill Cosby was something else. At this point, for me, it's like Bill Cosby ain't got no big, like, Bill Cosby won't goddamn shitting on people and make him eat his shit. No one right for him to be drugging nobody either. But at the same time, okay, now don't get into that ass. Don't get into that. Don't get into that ass. Don't get into that. Don't get into that. Don't get into that. I don't even want to, but I'm getting into this. I'm telling myself not to get into that, but I'm getting into this. So, Javante wanted everybody. Like, yeah, I literally put, like Javante said, get all their ass. I want them to get all their ass. I don't believe that if he was able to be guilty of racketeering and sex trafficking, there's no way that he should be going down by himself. I think a couple of people already was able to get immunity. What about everybody else? That manager that all the women all seem to always talk about. What about everybody else who had a hand? The cop. He had a Chicago cop on his end being paid off his like. There's so many hands in this. And I don't feel that he should be the only one going down. I'm with Javante. Get all day asses. All of them need to go down. Every single one of them. And I think I can agree. I'm going to end it with this. And what was said. It was a couple of things that we're talking about basically like how could this have gone on for so long? And I'll say this and I'm gonna end it. And I could definitely say that I definitely agree that it went on for so long. Like it basically goes back to we aren't protected. We as Black women, we weren't important enough, right? We the culture of bringing down a Black man. Heck, when I had my own domestic out, yeah, we'll just call it domestic violence situation. It was not as violent as it could have been, thank the Lord, but it was still a situation where, nah, and I'm pregnant, you out your damn mind. And I have a child who see what's going on. Unfortunately, yeah, you got to be an example now. But even the backlash I received in that, I was scared. I didn't know what was going to happen. And then you put me at a point where it's possible that I can't call for help? No. Hell no. That's one thing we're going to do. And I get it, though. I can get it. Because even after the fact, I had promised that I wouldn't do it again. That I wouldn't call the police on him again. What does that say? What does that say about our culture? It's fucked up because it's like, who do we call when we're in danger? But it's like at the same time, the people that we call aren't on our side either necessarily. They're not on our side. It's fucked. It really is. They just people just chose to turn a blind eye. They chose to turn a blind eye at the end of the day because a lot of them, they were living off of R. Kelly. The money in your pocket. You can go do this, you can go do that, whatever. Like, they chose to. For their own, everything, that definitely for sure, for their own personal gain. And of course, one standing up, there's no telling what can happen if, okay, this one person stands up and decides to check camera, say something about it, then what with everybody else? But what if though? What if one person had finally just stood up? I think what also throws me, and tell me if I'm wrong, y'all. Let me know if I'm wrong. Let me know if I'm wrong. Also, before I finish this. Oh yeah, that was the last thing I wrote down was Black women are not protected. And that basically just sums it up all. I feel like that, yeah. And I think also, am I wrong when I say it's kind of like, what also throws me off is for Bruce to seem to be just so shocked about what's going on. At the same time, I can get it because like, you know your brother and you may see him to a point, but I guess you don't, it's just that point. Because according to some of these girls, Bruce and Carrie were always around. Am I wrong when I say I felt like Carrie felt like he knew what was going on? Bruce, you admit that Kelly likes young girls. So why is it that I felt like Carrie didn't shy from away that this is what he was doing? He was the one that put it out there that they were assaulted as kids sexually. And I feel like Bruce is still, I get it, that's your brother. He's still in protection mode. He's not going to go against him. He was shocked to hear about the boys. What do you have to say about this whole feces and urine situation? Whew. So, it was informative for me. If you didn't watch it, that was the basis of it. Obviously, it was a lot more. But for me, it was, the final chapter was about, him finally being on trial and what that looked like for these women. And how Aaliyah was Jane Doe #1 and they said her name more than any other names in the trial. And as well, it's not all just the stuff that you know. It is kind of like all the stuff that you know, because kind of like the same, he did the same thing. He had a pattern, he did the same thing, but there were more, there's a whole nother person that comes to the forefront about her story and kind of corroborates him being with Aaliyah. If you haven't seen it, definitely know whether you choose to, or not to. Like I said, I wasn't keeping up. I was interested to see. At first, I wasn't gonna watch it because of what I was seeing on Twitter about what people were saying about it, blase, blase, blase. But yeah, I wanted to come on and, whether popular or unpopularly, have this conversation, about it, have a talk about it, and just how sickening this is. But at the same time, how it's what do you do for people like him? What do you do for people like him? And it's hard. It's very hard to be in the midst of, like, does this man get forgiveness for some of the things that he did? And God says, like, everybody should be forgiven. The man, boy, Robert Kelly, you made this very hard. You made this very hard, sir. So definitely, if you did watch this video, I appreciate it. Thank you so much again. Please hit that like button, and comment down below whether you watched it or didn't watch it. If you watched it, what your thoughts were. If you didn't watch it, maybe why you didn't watch it, or just on what I talked about, what your thoughts are. And peace, y'all.